that, the people that inspired me were kind of like the direct cinema guys of like, the Maisels and all those films that
Frederick
were just,
Wiseman
and
Alan King.
Leacock,
Yeah.
And now there's been such a formula that's been created of these documentary films that are like competitions and much more and Supersize Me and like filling your mind with what to think rather than letting you go through an experience.
Yeah.
And my film I've been told that it's really, this genuinely fresh kind of take on documentary films. A lot of people think it's a narrative. And because of that, like, people respond so much to it, but say, I don't know how to market it. Because it's not, I really made a decision that I wanted people to go on an experience and come out with like this interactive kind of experience of being in this film, being so intimately involved in someone's life and how that they reacted themselves about it instead of me pushing thoughts in their head and then they leave with what, even though I did have things I wanted to express, but I did it in a way that was through a narrative structure that you were just experiencing someone's life.
Yeah,
and
it was.
You wouldn't think that would be revolutionary.
No, but apparently you stumbled on a revolution.
Well,
with Billy the Kid, which is I should say the film is Billy the Kid.
Yeah,
and you're Jennifer Venditti.
Yeah. And my day job is a casting director.
Oh, really?
So I got into this because I kind of felt that the ways of going, I started out kind of like in the fashion advertising world, and then thinking like the ideas of beauty were really limited, and so I would go street scouting in different places, whether it was in the favelas in Brazil or the streets of New York City, and find interesting characters to be put in print ads or commercials or fashion editorials, and worked with Richard Avedon to Bruce Weber to Prita Lerman, all the greats, and then through that I would just meet these amazing characters and I would film and film and film, and I just had boxes of tapes of stories. And I was, I wanted to do something else with it, but it was kind of overwhelming. And then I was casting a film that actually won at Sundance last year. And we had brought all the actors from New York, but I went to a high school to find extras, and I sat in this high school every day, and I watched the lunchroom and just watched like these cliques of kids, how segregated it was. And there was this one kid who would sit alone every day at the table. And I interviewed some bullies and said, do you guys ever let someone new sit at your table? And they told about this time they invited this kid over and he went crazy because they were making fun of him, and I asked who it was.
Is that Billy?
And they pointed over and they're like, over there, his name's Billy. And it's like this kid in like a tight black t-shirt with shorts up to here. Everyone's like in the oversized with baseball caps, and he like has like tight little shorts on with these awkward sandals and like a trucker t-shirt. And I went over to him, and his like vocabulary, first of all, about film, he's obsessed. So the way he survives his alienation is by connecting with iconic figures from like superheroes in film to rock stars from the 80s, like Kiss, and these people that kind of have this superhero.
I don't know anything about that.
By the way, a little warning, any guy that sees this film, it's painful for them because it's like you go on this journey of, and Billy doesn't know how to hold things back, so everything that you were thinking when you were a kid, you kept up here, he says, and you're like, no, Billy, don't do it. When he meets his girl, his love for the first time in the movie, and he goes in the bathroom, and he's like, the first thing he says when he approaches her is, haven't I seen you here before? And she's like, I don't think so. And he goes into the bathroom and he shuts the door and he's like, haven't I seen you here before? Death. And he forgets the microphone's on. So it's like and most people would say that in their head, but not. So it's really an opportunity to get to remember. I mean, the things that he goes through are really relevant for a teenager, but timeless. Even for, he says things like, I used to think my imagination was a scary place. Now I know the whole world's a scary place. Or, if you love someone and they don't want to be with you, set them free, give them what they... And, quotes Robert Frost, and he's really intelligent. It's just he's living in a world of conformity and where we're all judged by labels and separated and segregated by what people think are different scares them. But the response to the film is that most people that see it feel like, oh my God, like I see myself in him. Like I would have judged him too, but now seeing him from a removed, situation and hearing and seeing what his life, you learn how violent his childhood was. You learn about, kind of the struggles, what he goes through, and then at the end you learn. I didn't want to tell what was wrong with him, if there was anything wrong with him, because to me it's about how much. What I think when you.
It's not about a disorder.
It's not about a disorder. It's about how different. No matter how different we are, ultimately we all want to be accepted. We all want to find love, and we all want to be understood.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think if I would have made a film about a label or a disorder, it might be people understood it more. The marketers.
Yeah. Right.
You know, but
so,
I didn't want to.
You say it's cinema verite, meaning you just followed this kid? What was the process of following him around?
I mean, when I say I went there when I first decided to do this, it was going to be a collage of different people I had street cast, and it was going to be like a 5-minute film.
Yeah.
You know, short, and I was just going to have like, or maybe not his would be like 5 minutes. When I got there, he fell in love for the first time in his life. He had never had a girlfriend before, and so and we're getting married, and Kiss is performing at the wedding.
What a dream come true.
Gene Simmons is giving me away.
Is that the end of the movie? It's fantastic.
I know.
I gotta see this.
So no, I went up there and I was just like hanging out with him, and then we were like doing this thing in a video store of like Billy's greatest hits. He's like obsessed with horror films.
Yeah.
And he was hungry, and he's like, "Let's go eat." We go into this diner, and the camera guy's just about to take the microphone or the headphones off, and he hears him go, "Haven't I met you here before?" We ended up like spending like days in this diner as he's like courting this girl, and her eyes, she has this disorder that her eyes shake like this really fast.
Oh wow!
I know, like Harmony Korine wishes like he could have made this film, but so we stayed in this diner for like 3 days, and at that point it was like. I knew that there had never been a coming-of-age film that had captured teen love like this. But, so I filmed for 8 days, and Billy basically was the director, and I just followed him,
Nice.
you know?
Yeah.
And then we edited for that, and then getting, you know, we have a lot of Kiss and music like that, so that was, I know, the soundtrack, if we can get Gene to go with it, will be awesome.
Gene Simmons.
Please.
Go for it.
Well, it will revive your career.
If it can be. The film is Billy the Kid. This is Jennifer Venditti, the director. Sounds fascinating.
Are you going to come see it?
When's it playing?
Sunday at 9 p.m.
High five.
You are?
I'm coming. Done and done. All right. Thanks
you.
for sitting with us.